In this video, I'm going to show you the exact process of creating AI cinematics just like this one, where I'm going to show you my prompts and reveal the secrets that I take to get such hyper-realistic cinematics so that you can create the exact same results.
And I've broken down the entire process down to 3 sections. And I'm even going to give out 3 pro tips that I haven't heard anyone talk about.
And if you want to learn AI and take your skills to the next level, there's an awesome community at the top of the description. If that interests you at all, go check it out. But now let's get straight into the video. So right here is the entire workflow. And the program I used for this was Luma AI. I want to first start with one of the most important parts of the entire process is coming up with ideas. How do you generate ideas? Where do you even get the thoughts to create things like this? And I would say that coming up with the ideas is probably the hardest part. It's because it's usually you don't know where to start and how to even start, or what story to go with, or what look to go, or whatever it might be. Instead of trying to be original, I encourage you to find inspiration online and take their ideas and implement it into your work. Now, this doesn't mean just blatantly copy or steal someone else's work. We don't want to do that. That's not the right thing to do. What you can do is you can take them as references, and that's the most important part, right? So you got to understand that AI doesn't understand what you're talking about half the time. If you can show it a photo, which it can analyze photos and it knows exactly what it's looking at, that there will shortcut your process by 10 times. It will see that and understand exactly what your prompt says and see your image and then connect it to it and be like, okay, makes sense. I'm going to create that for you. So I encourage you to find references. Where do you find references? I find references using Pinterest. It's free. I've trained the algorithm to give me ideas whenever I open it up. Whenever I start scrolling, it just gets my ideas flowing every single time. And because when you can click onto an image, it'll open up ideas similar to that image. You can even just use Instagram, find someone's work that you really like and start to experiment with it, right? So a pro tip for finding the images that you like, try to not just look at the image as a whole, try to look at the image in sections, in parts. So for example, when you look at an image, look at it for the film emulation or the posing or the environment or any aspect that you may be able to take or extract from that image itself. Like you don't need to just copy the entire image. We could be like, oh, this guy's pose, I want to take that and implement it in my scene. Or this environment, I really want to implement that into my scene, right? You want to look for little things that you can take and implement into your own work. I found these 2 references that I liked. So of course, this was a pretty cool abstract shot of Walter White lighting a cigarette with a stove. And then of course, this outfit that Future was wearing was pretty awesome as well. And there's a prompt that I've been using religiously that I created a long time ago that just works fantastically. And it's actually a system prompt. So this is the prompt here, which I'll supply down in the description. But so really quickly, a system prompt is basically just telling the AI exactly what its job is. So it's just telling it its role. So you're basically straight up telling it, hey, you are a world-class cinematographer. So we're putting the AI in the mindset of being a cinematographer and master gaffer, which is just a lighting person, right? So someone who understands these terminologies and thinks in this space. So once we start to nail down the exact direction we want to point the AI in, it starts to understand and make more sense when we're trying to communicate with it. So entire system prompt here, which we just tell it its role. We can see we've got optics, so just what lenses, what cameras it uses, lighting, color science, and then integration. This integration part is the most important part for integrating our characters into our scene. I've never removed it or added it. This entire prompt is all just one, and it's always worked no matter if I add a character in and if I don't want to add a character into my scene. Because we have this little integration section down here, it just tells it if we've added another character there just to implement it into the scene perfectly. And it also keeps all of this in mind. Now, the reason why this is so good is, so when it comes to creating videos like this one, I love to let AI take control sometimes, right? So we could sit here and be very particular. If you have an idea that you want to bring to life, you can just be like, hey, I want it to, scene 1's going to do this, scene 2's going to do this. I want you to do this, this, and this. When you end up creating hundreds of different cinematics, which I've done, you kind of run out of ideas a little bit to kind of be a little bit more unique in a way. So sometimes using the AI to your advantage, letting it take creative control, it actually helps out so much because the ideas that it comes up with is so random. So when we just use just the system prompt and we don't say anything. So if you want to say something a little bit more specific, like changing the color of a scene, or maybe just take away something or note something, what you can do is just before this prompt, you just note that. And it doesn't need to be complex. You just be like, remove this thing, right? Or whatever it is. And it'll note that while keeping everything below in mind. That's if you wanted to, of course, make that little change. In the circumstance, I didn't really need to make that change. I just wanted it to take just control. And because it has this idea of being a cinematographer and a professional gaffer and all that, the scenes that it creates, even though we've given this reference, so remember how I said at the start, we have these, like our reference image, we can't look at it for exactly what it is. Like we look at it for the aspect that it is, like what's happening in the scene, what's the action, what's the colors and all that, because that's what the AI looks at. So because we have this in place, it's not actually going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to see here some 2 results that it gave me, which is actually like, looks really sweet. And you're going to see here, they are very similar, but they're very different at the same time, right? Like we borrowed the idea, but we haven't completely just yoinked it, right? That's someone else's work. We've taken inspiration from it. And this was still a little too close. Like, you know, it's blue. It's cool, but it's a bit blue. It's not really matching the vibe. So then we're able to just make it warm. And you can see now this scene and this scene, you might be like, oh, that's from this image, if you've ever seen the image, which you might be like, oh yeah, like he's kind of taking inspiration from that thing. So this here is a great example of, we're not actually taking the work, we're just integrating it and just giving it just a little bit of a flavor, a little bit of difference. So that's what that prompt does. Once you find the one you like, so I like this one, we can then start animating it. So you can either use Seedance or you can use Kling 3. They both work fantastically. The difference between Kling and Seedance is actually not as extreme as you might think. Seedance is fantastic at a lot of things. It's really good at being just very creative and understanding exactly what you're looking for. And it does it extremely well with really good consistency, because you can give it up to 9 images, up to 3 videos, up to 3 audio clips. And then you just mention these things throughout your prompt and it understands exactly what you're talking about, which is insane. But the problem is, because it's so realistic and it's actually insanely good, they've had to put some restrictions on it. Unlikely that you'll be able to use well-known people's faces or brand logos or whatever it might do. And then the Seedance is also just stupidly expensive. It's very, very expensive. If you obviously can afford it, you can get away with it, but you just can't get away with generating too much because it's very pricey. Always the go-to for me, the first one to go to is Kling, because Kling is quite cheap and it does really good results. As you can see, this one here is using Kling 3 and it actually looks exactly like the Seedance one. So Kling 3, awesome results. And this one here is Seedance 2. So you're going to see they both give some pretty awesome results, but somehow Kling gave better results, which can happen, you know, like AI is quite different, quite random sometimes. So it's always good to try different things. Quickly want to tag on a point here where I mentioned that famous people, you can't use famous people when you use Seedance, but as you can see, well, we're using Seedance for these ones, which, how does that work? So it's actually interesting. Sometimes you can actually brute force your way into it. Sometimes it won't let you use images. I know Higgsfield is a bit different. It checks for eligibility, but some of them you can kind of upload the image already and then try to kind of brute force it. So if you just sit there and spam the generation button, sometimes you might get one in there that actually works, which surprises me sometimes. So sometimes it could work, sometimes it doesn't. As you can see in these circumstances, it actually worked, but I didn't actually end up using these Seedance ones. I ended up using this Kling one. Now you're going to see here, this is also similar to my image prompt, right? This is like the video version of my image prompt. I use this prompt quite religiously and it gives the AI enough headroom to be as creative as it wants to be, but it also keeps us in our guides of like, what's the look we're going for. So you're going to see here, just talks about that kind of like that gritty found footage aesthetic, shaky hand camera, like very raw, unstable, documentary style, you know, harsh exposure, long shadows, 24 FPS grain. It's just got a lot of the feeling, right? It doesn't actually direct the scene. It just tells you the kind of feel that we're going for. And that let the AI kind of be creative. And because when you're taking this approach, like I mentioned before, it can get quite expensive. So it's always good to use a video model that you can just kind of press generate multiple times just to see the results that you can get. So this here is the entire process. Now, I pretty much do this for every single scene besides certain ones, and I'll show you why that is. So the next one, this one is pretty awesome as well. So you're going to see I was able to take this reference image here, and I didn't actually use the prompt that I said I religiously use here. So over the time of you generating, you sometimes get the AI to generate you multiple different prompts out of the one image. So say if you go to AI, say Claude or whatever it might be, just be like, hey, can you generate me 10 different prompts for different angles of this scene? It will give you obviously 10 different prompts where you can just copy and paste it into your scene. So over the hundreds of cinematics that I've made, I have collected quite a few of these prompts where it's generated some really awesome results that actually stood out to me and where I've kept it so that I could reuse it for next time. And I guess you can call them like repeatable prompts. So for example, this is one of them. This one is just gives me this hand kind of style. Like you've probably, if you've ever seen my work, you've probably seen this shot actually quite a few times. I can actually use it in multiple different cinematics. Like I can kind of get away with like, it's a nice insert shot. It's a nice like detailed shot, close up of just this action. And it works really, really well every single time I use it. You first start with like generating your scene. So I literally just grab my reference and then paste in my prompt, the same as you would do in anything, you know, using Nano Banana Pro, and it'll give you some pretty awesome results, as you can see here. And for this darker look as well, it just is pretty much exactly telling you what it is. So I really liked this look, but I wanted to make it black and white. So go to Claude and be like, hey, I want to make this black and white, like black and white film or whatever it is. Or you can give it a reference of like the black and white look you're going for. Tell it Claude to give you a prompt that turns your scene into black and white. And you can reuse that prompt to make your scenes into black and white. And you can see it gives like these little star things, which the AI recognizes when we generate into videos. So you're going to see there's quite a lot of videos here. But when we see the final output here, AI like uses them in like sparkles, and it's quite pretty awesome. You're going to see I use the same video prompt like this here. If you look at it, it's actually the exact same video prompt, but just before I paste in my video prompt, I just put in this little note just before it, just to kind of give it a little bit of guidance, right? So like I said, we can either give it full control, or we can just put a little sentence before it, just being like, hey, can you do this? And then you let the AI kind of figure it out. And that's exactly what I did here, you know, lighting the cigarette while flexing the jewelry to the camera. And that's exactly what he does. And he does it very well. After I've done all that, it's all about then bringing it back into Premiere Pro or any editing software of your choice and just chucking a film emulation over it. So the go-to film emulation for myself is I use Film Convert. So you're going to see here the before and after. So this is the before and this is the after. Like you can see the difference that it makes. Like how good does that look? You can see that I really turn up the grain for it because it's just I guess that's the style that's going around at the moment. You're going to see that the result is just honestly awesome. So if you want access to any of the prompts that I use in this video, of course, it'll be linked down below. And if you want to go a little bit more in depth and grow your knowledge in the AI generative space and even turn it into income, I encourage you to go check out the community below.
The craziest thing is that it's one of the fastest growing AI cinematic communities out there, which is absolutely insane. In the past 5 days, we've gained 133 members. And one of the craziest things is that we're actually trending on the front page of Skool. That's how fast we're growing.
And I genuinely believe that you'll get so much value from it. That's it for this video. Hopefully you guys got some value from this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.